Hello and welcome to the Somatic Movement and Mindset podcast with me, clinical somatic educator and founder of Total Somatics, Heidi Hadley. The Somatic Movement and Mindset podcast has been designed to help you gain a deeper understanding to how your mind and body work. You will learn about your amazing mind and body and why over time you can feel pain, recurring injuries and poor posture. Within this podcast, I will teach you why this doesn't have to be your future or the norm for you. Would you like to learn how to reduce pain, move freely, and gain a new lease of life? Let's get started.
Hello and welcome back. Now, before we get started, just want to share with you that if you're watching this on the Total Somatics YouTube channel, please could you like, share, subscribe, and press the notification bell. So the next time an episode is released, you're the very first to find out. Also, just before we get started with this episode, I don't know if you can recall from last time, but this current podcast series are extracts from a recent free online workshop series I've held. And so I thought taking little extracts out and really thinking about it and focusing on it each week just helps us to really appreciate what's going on underneath our skin. So just before we start, if you are listening to this in the car or elsewhere with your podcast preferred platform, if you ever get the opportunity to go to the YouTube channel for Total Somatics, you can appreciate the slides that go with this particular episode and the other ones in this series. So before we get started, just give you an introduction. We're going to talk in this episode about the reticular activating system, or the RAS. I absolutely love this subject, so I can't wait to share it with you. But it's really, really important for our perception, our mindset, and how we move forward with our overall mental, emotional, physical, and energetic health and well-being. So enjoy this extract. To influence our mindset, we want to be focusing on empowering content and conversations and upbuilding relationships as well. So where there's those toxic relationships, we're kind of wanting to look at how we can reassess those connections, because really we want to take care of our well-being, and sometimes some relationships can be more damaging to our well-being than we realize. But what we're going to look at here is, I've got RAS, R-A-S. That stands for something called the reticular activating system. It's really cool. I love this part of the brain. It's not in that part, by the way. It's in the brainstem. So it's right at the bottom here. And your reticular activating system is in your subconscious part. It's absolutely incredible. And it's a filtering system. Again, I've mentioned before, the more you learn about your amazing mind and body, you're just in awe about it all, really. Because with your reticular activating system, it's a filter. Think of everything at this point in time. You're focusing on this session. But at the same time, you've got car noises or dogs barking or children calling out. You've got different temperatures, lots of stimuli that's happening. But your reticular activating system has filtered all of that, quietened it down so that you can fully focus on what your aim is, what you're intending to focus on at this point. That's why that expression, what you focus on grows, that comes from the reticular activating system. So when we focus and when we filter on something, it basically becomes that main topic of focus for the moment. So this is whereby it all begins of your perception. If you want to read empowering, upbuilding, educated content, you're going to have a mindset which is going to be more open to a growth mindset. You're going to be looking at reasoning with people, responding to people. It's a very different idea altogether. Whereas if we've got more of that survival, we've not really moved out of the stress response, that whole limbic system survival, we start to look at everything with a negative slant. So anything can just basically, because of perception, you can start to read into that situation. So really, a person can wake up every morning and look for something to be offended about. That's really what can happen. And that comes from the reticular activating system. If somebody has a dialogue or a narrative internally about something or someone or an environment or whatever it is, they will continue to feed that negative narrative. And whatever the results and the responses around them happen, they will make it fit their negative narrative. So it's really interesting. It's like, let's have a look at what are we making fertile in our mind? Are we offended quite easily? Do we seem to be on the negative conversation all the time? Or do we look to see how we can be more proactive and positive in a situation? These are really, really important things to consider here. I mean, you could be walking along talking to somebody, and if they've got a negative mindset, you could have something like a bit of trapped wind, create a funny little face, and then they can react. It can be as simple as that. And I'm sure you've all had experiences where you've seen these things happen. So it's really important that we feed and nourish our mindset, because that creates not just the postural movements like we've looked at, not just the hormonal responses, but it's really going to impact our personal and interpersonal relationships. And also, what kind of mindset do we have? Do we live in a peaceful mind, or is it quite chaotic and scattered and anxious all the time? So this is why, can we look at what we focus on grows? That's why now can we get really sensitive to, we might need to watch the news for whatever reason, but could we just filter the amount of time that we're watching it? Maybe read or watch or just discuss more at building conversations so that we make our mindset fertile for this growth mindset. We want to grow and learn and continue to progress as we move forward. So just before we move on, I just want to share with you how with the reticular activating system, it can have disempowering effects in the health setting, for instance. And we, again, want to look at how we can make it more empowering. So you may have heard me in previous podcasts, and please check them out because you'll hear examples in particular. But when you have a mindset that you may have suffered a lot of pain over the years, you just feel like you keep asking for help and nobody's really listening. You're just given medication or just told that it's all in your head, or, you know, all these sorts of things. It really gets people down. But also you can have well-meaning health practitioners that might use disempowering labels like, you've got a fragile back, don't move your back, stop exercising, you've got a back of a 95-year-old, or your bones are crumbling, you've got a crumbling spine. That is really scary. If you already have a lot of pain and you live with a lot of anxiety and fear because of different health reasons, when you get layered with labels such as that, can you see how your reticular activating system fires up more of this perception that I can't move my body, I'm really fragile, what am I going to do? And then the narrative just feeds off that. So that's why today and beyond, if you want to keep moving along with me, there are so many things that we can do to change what's going on up here, and also allow your body to explore the different ways of movement, releasing that tension and starting to change the internal narrative and realizing that your body is pretty amazing actually. And there's a lot that you can do to change and adapt. Even if you've got some severe pain, there's a lot that you can still do. And so that's why, just consider that your reticular activating system is an area that what we focus on grows, and your brain is constantly changing and adapting till the time we take our last breath in life. It continues to grow and adapt and create all these networks in your brain so we can change things. That's what's so incredible about you. So isn't that cool to hear all about the reticular activating system? So let me know what your thoughts are. Drop them in the comments if you're watching this on the Total Somatics YouTube channel. And in the meantime, if you want to learn a little bit more, if you go to totalsomatics.com, click on the shop page, you'll see there are workshops that you can really dive deep into some of these areas. And also, if you really want to start to feel those muscles soften and release and let everything go, you can enjoy the audio workshops and the audio classes that are also within the Total Somatics online shop. So again, that's totalsomatics.com, click on the shop page. And if you're interested in joining the Total Somatics membership, if you go to totalsomatics.com, click on the Join Now page. And if there's a little box there, leave your details. And the next time the membership doors open, you'll be the very first to find out. If you click on that and the membership is currently open, come on in. It'd be lovely to have you. So until next time, all my love and very best wishes. Take care. Bye.
Thank you for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and also forward this on to somebody you know will benefit. To learn more about pain relief, plus how to improve your health and well-being, go to totalsomatics.com. Until next time, take care.